I can tell a million people how to do this step by step by step, but only a few people is actually going to do it. I need you to stop using what you don't have as an excuse. Yes, it is an excuse. That is one of the biggest problems that I feel like we as humans have, and it's a very detrimental mindset to have. The reason why it's a bad mindset to have is because it keeps you in a box and it keeps you stagnant. Now, the way, example of how it can kind of keep you stagnant is because in actuality, right, in real life, what if you never get what you need to be successful or to accomplish what you want to accomplish? Then what? Then what happens? You stay in your box and you stay in your little bubble and you never progress and you stay in the same position forever because you never got what you needed, instead of trying to find an alternate route to get to the destination that you want to get to. Doing what you can with what you have, it embodies kind of the essence of making the most of your resources and your circumstances. It's more about taking action and moving forward despite any limitations. Whatever comes your way, being able to pivot and finding a different way to reach that solution. It's about taking, more proactive steps towards your goals, even if you don't have, anything you need, by focusing on what you can control and leveraging, which I've talked about in previous videos, focusing on what you can control. You can't control the type of life you were born into, the type of environment you were born into. That's not something that you can control. But you can control how you get out of that, right? They say it's not your fault if you were born broke, but it is your fault if you die broke. You know what I mean? Because there's so many different routes that you can take to get you out of that slump. Now, it might be a little harder for you. I'm not denying that, right? I'm not here to tell you that you're not in a bad spot and you didn't get the luck of the draw and you're being lazy in the big. I'm not here to do that to you. That's not what I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm just letting you know that there is a way out if it's something that you're willing to do. There's a lot of people that I watch, motivational speakers, a lot of businessmen, that talk about getting it out the mud and, how they became successful. And, I was watching it live, and you notice a lot of people that are mentors and things like that, they'll sell courses and, do all of that type of stuff. And there's this one guy, he basically gives away free game. Like, he tells you everything from step 1 to step 100 for free. And a question came up and they asked him, they said, how come you don't sell any courses? Like, why are you giving away all of this free game? And what he said actually blew my mind, right? He says, I can tell a million people how to do this step by step by step, but only a few people is actually going to do it. Majority of people, they're gonna sit there, they're gonna look at it, they're gonna listen to it, they'll probably bookmark it, save it, probably look at it later, but they'll never actually do it because they probably think it's too hard. They probably don't think they have the resources available to them. They just probably think they're not smart enough. Whatever the case may be, you can have all the steps laid out, but only a few people will actually do it. And that kind of just blew my mind because I was a victim of that too. Looking at stuff and I'm like, oh, I can do that, but I never actually do it, right? And so, just getting out of your own head and getting out of that, comfortability and actually going towards it is something that a lot of us just struggle with for whatever reason. But when you start thinking, having those negative thoughts about, what what you don't have and how you can't do this because you don't have it. Is you one thing that I started doing when I started thinking like that is, you know, yes, there's probably people that are far ahead of you. There's probably people that, you know, have more resources, you know, for them at their will, whatever the case may be. But look back before them, right? There was always somebody who did it first. There was always somebody who did it first, and they didn't have any help, right? There's people that got it out the mud by themselves without any help, any mentors, any courses, classes, whatever, right? So you're telling me that they can do it, but you can't? And we have way more resources now than they had, right? We have internet. You know what I'm saying? There's people that were millionaires straight off the muscle. We have the internet. We have the opportunity to make money off the internet. We have an infinite amount of resources. Google was a life changer. And you're telling me that you don't have alternate resources to get to where you need to go? You're just not looking hard enough. Really, truly, honestly. Either you're not looking hard enough or you don't care enough to try. And if you don't care enough to try and that's something you're okay with, then that's on you. You know what I mean? But there's definitely a lot more resources for us out here that we're just not using. You know what I mean? And for me, you know, kind of to put my own personal thing on it, it's like, you know, I wanted to be a YouTuber, and I always was like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. I don't have a camera. I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to do this. Like, I'll take time to learn and this and that and the third. And, you know, me trying to sit back and take time, and I just wasted a bunch of time instead of just going out and doing it, right? Like, I didn't need a fancy camera to start YouTube. I used my phone. I didn't need some fancy editing app. I used iMovie on my phone. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that I had available to me that I could have used, but I just didn't because I thought I needed all of this fancy equipment, you know, which just wasn't the case. There's always different ways to do something, you know. You just have to find it. You know, find that creativity, find that resilience, you know, that mindset, and you'll be able to get to anywhere you want to go. But, you know, if anybody else relates, and if you do this, if it's something that a habit you're trying to kick, you know, you're trying to move on to the next level, you know, drop a comment, let's start a dialogue, have a conversation, help each other out, man. My goal here is, you know, if I just help one person, you know, accomplish something that they want to accomplish, then I feel like my goal is complete, you know, if it's only one person. But thank y'all for tapping in, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell, do all that, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video.